back or welcome to Joy Unfiltered. I am Rachel, your podcast host. And my voice sounds a little bit different today, maybe a little softer around the edges. It's because I am recording this just days into being a married woman. I keep catching myself actually looking down at my hand like the ring is going to surprise me all over again. And it does every single time. I am a little bit tired, but in the best possible way. And I do have a thank you note list longer than my arm, which isn't really hard because my arms are not that long. And I'm sitting here in the middle of one of the most joyful seasons of my entire life, getting ready to talk to you about something that has been really on my mind for weeks. So here it is. We have a cultural myth about joy that I think is doing real damage. And I want to take it apart piece by piece today, if you'll let me, if you will indulge me in that. The myth is this, that joy is a personality trait, that joy is something either you have or you don't, that some people were just born with a sparklier, if that is a word, nervous system. The ones who light up a room, you know who they are. The ones who seem to find the silver lining without even trying. And the rest of us, are over here doing our best, slightly more tired, slightly less sparkly, watching the joyful people from a distance and wondering, what is wrong with us? I mean, if you listen to my last podcast, solo podcast, I thought I was one of those people. But you know what? I do not believe that. And I refuse to believe that. And the deeper that I get into this work, the more convinced I become that joy is not a personality. Joy is a practice. And the difference between those two ideas is not small. It perhaps is the entire game. Think about what it means if joy is a personality trait. That means it is fixed. It means either you won the temperament lottery or you didn't. And there is nothing to do about it except your assigned role in the family or friend group. The fun one, the serious one, the anxious one, the one who is naturally happy. You know what? We hand out those labels like they are permanent, like they were issued at birth along with our eye color. And then we spend the rest of our lives living inside them. I mean, I'll take my brown eye color every day, but I don't want to live inside that temperament necessarily. But here's what the research actually says. And I find this so freeing, and I want you to sit with it just for a second. There is a well-known finding in positive psychology, often attributed to the researcher Sonia Lubkowski, that roughly 40% of our happiness is within our control through intentional activity. Not genetics, not circumstances, intentional activity. Things we actually do. Now, there is a chunk that's genetic set point. Okay, sure. And there is a chunk that is life circumstances, and we don't have full control over either of those. Okay, I got that. But that 40%, The part that comes from what we choose to do with our attention, our habits, our daily practice, 40%. That is enormous. And that part is ours. And that means joy is trainable. It means joy responds to the reps the same way that strength does, the same way that endurance does. And I know a thing or two about reps because before I was talking to you about joy for a living, I did 3 Ironmans. And let me tell you, nobody crosses the finish line on talent alone, or at least I did not cross the finish line on talent alone. Nobody just wakes up one day and naturally is able to swim 2.4 miles, bike 112, and then run a full marathon on legs that actually feel like, I don't know, wet sand. That happens because of training, because of a plan followed on the days you feel like it, and then the same plan followed on the days that you absolutely do not feel like it. Joy works exactly the same way. And today, I want to walk you through what that training plan looks like. Because you know what? I like plans. So I built one. I call it the Enjoy Method. And I like to think of it the same way as I used to think of my Ironman training blocks. There were only 3 or maybe 5 training blocks. So I'm going to do 5 again. 5 areas of focus. Practiced consistently, remember that word, consistently, that built a kind of joy fitness over time. So the E in enjoy stands for engage in wellness. This is not about punishing your body into some kind of idealized shape. This is about treating your body like the only vehicle that you get for this entire lifetime, and choosing to actually take care of it instead of just dragging it through your to-do list. It means sleep, water. It means moving your body in a way that feels like care instead of penance. It's nourishing food. And for me, that does mean plant-based, whole, real food that fuels rather than depletes. And none of this requires perfection, but it does require attention. The N stands for nurture connection. Human beings are not wired for isolation, no matter how independent we like to believe we are. Joy rarely happens in a vacuum. It happens in the kitchen with someone you love, on the phone with a friend who's known you for over 30, in the texts that say nothing important and everything important at the same time. Nurturing connection means you stop treating relationships like something that you will get to once the urgent stuff is handled. Because you know what? Or I know the urgent stuff is never fully handled. And you still make the call now. The J stands for join in giving. This one surprises people because we tend to think joy is something that we receive. But some of the most consistent research in this field points to something almost paradoxical. That giving, generosity, service, contributing to something outside of ourselves, lights up the same exact reward pathways that receiving does, and sometimes even more. Joy multiplies when it moves through you toward someone else. And you know what? It does not multiply when it is hoarded. The O stands for open to something greater. This is the part of the method that touches faith, at least for me personally, and touches something bigger than ourselves for everyone, whatever that might mean in your own life. Being open to something greater means that you stop trying to white knuckle your way through every single outcome. Like you are the only force holding the universe together. There is a profound exhale that happens when you let yourself believe you are being held, that you actually are being held by something larger than your own striving. And the why? The why stands for yes to joy. I love this one. Yes to joy. This is the pillar that ties the whole thing together because it is the daily decision. Let me say that again. The daily decision to actually say yes when joy shows up instead of deflecting it or minimizing it or rushing past it because you are too busy, too stressed.
What is that?
Oh, yeah, it's a World Cup holder.
Like the soccer tournament World Cup?
Holder. For the world. Fits every car, holds every cup.
It has a Carvana logo?
Carvana made it. They buy and sell cars, so they made a car cup holder. So, got any good cups lately?
Used to, just couldn't figure out where in the world to put them.
The World Cup holder, brought to you by Carvana, proud sponsors of the World Cup holder.
Sign up today to win yours at cup-holder2026.com. Not authorized or endorsed by FIFA. Not a real product. For parity and fair use purposes only.
Too convinced that you have not earned it yet. That's the architecture. That's joy. That is the architecture of joy. ENJOY. 5 areas of practice. The same way swim, bike, run, strength, and recovery were the 5 areas of my Ironman plan. But you know what? A training plan only works if you actually do the reps. And I know just writing it down doesn't actually do the reps. So actually do the reps. So I want to give you something even smaller than the enjoy method to practice every single day. And I call these joy macros. And there are only 3. Notice, allow, share. Notice. Notice means you slow down enough to actually see what is already good. Not manufacture something good, not force a silver lining, not put on rose-colored glasses when it's a really hard day. Just notice. Notice what is already there. The coffee while it is still hot. The text from a friend you were not expecting. The way your body felt after you moved it this morning. Most of us are moving so fast that joy just walks right past us and we don't even clock that it happened. So notice. Then allow. Allow means that once you notice it, you actually let yourself feel it instead of immediately deflecting it. This is the one that trips up us high achievers the most. We notice the good thing and then we immediately brush it off. We immediately let it go. We immediately say, yeah, but, and pivot straight into the next problem on the list. Allowing means that you let the good feeling land in your body. Land in your body for, 10 to 20 seconds before you move on. You let it count instead of discounting it. So allow. And then share. Share means you also let someone else in on it. You tell your spouse about the good moment. You text a friend. You say it out loud at the next dinner table or next dinner party. You let the joy move through you to someone else. Because remember what I said before? Joy multiplies when it moves. So notice, allow, share. You can do this whole thing in 10 seconds or less. You can do this standing in line at the grocery store. You can do this in the middle of a hard meeting. You can do this exhausted at the end of a day that did not go anywhere close to how you planned. Notice, allow, share. And I want to be honest with you about something, because I think it actually matters more this week than in most weeks. As I said, woohoo, I am newly married. I
sold my car in Carvana last night.
Well, that's cool.
No, you don't understand. It went perfectly. Real offer, down to the penny. They're picking it up tomorrow. Nothing went wrong.
So, what's the problem?
That is the problem. Nothing in my life goes as smoothly. I'm waiting for the catch.
Maybe there's no catch.
That's exactly what a catch would want me to think.
Wow, you need to relax.
I need to knock on wood. Do we have wood? Is this table wood?
I think it's laminate.
Okay, yeah, that's good. That's close enough.
Car selling without a catch. Sell your car today on Carvana. Pickup fees may apply.
really happy. And I have also felt those little flickers of something unexpected the last couple days. A kind of quiet come down. And maybe you felt this after a milestone in your own life. The wedding happens. Yay! The race you trained for all year gets run. That big thing you circled on the calendar for months finally comes and goes. And then life, I don't know, it just continues. The thank you cards still need to be written. The inbox filled up overnight. And there's this small voice that whispers, well, that's done. Now what? But that is exactly why joy cannot only live at the top, at the summit, at the altar, or at the finish line. If joy only shows up for those big, circled on the calendar moments, then joy is temporary by design. It arrives for the highlight reel and leaves the second that highlight reel ends. And I'm getting goosebumps here, but if joy is a practice, something that you build through small, repeatable moments of noticing, allowing, and sharing, then it doesn't depend on the next milestone to keep it alive. It's available on a random Tuesday. It's available maybe in the laundry pile. It's available standing next to you in your kitchen at 10 o'clock at night, wondering where the day went. I honestly, and it's been a few years, I think about my Ironman training all the time when I talk about this, because race day, although it took me years to realize this, race day was never actually the point. Even though it really did feel like the point for all of the time training. The actual transformation happened in the super unglamorous 5 a.m. swim sets that no one else saw. The hundreds of training miles on my bike where nothing exciting happened, where I just showed up, pedaled, did the work because the plan said today was a build day. Race day was simply the proof that all those invisible repetitions happened. And joy works in the same way. The wedding day, the milestone, the achievement, that's just the visible proof of all of the invisible reps that you have been quietly practicing. Noticing the small good things. Allowing yourself to feel them instead of rushing past them. Sharing them with the people who love you. So, if you're in a season right now where the big exciting thing already happened and you're wondering why you feel a little flat, hello, Rachel, raising your hand here. Or if you are in a season where the big exciting thing hasn't happened yet and you are tempted to put your joy on hold until it does, I want to offer you the same invitation either way. Stop waiting for the milestone. Stop waiting for the milestone. The practice, the joy practice is available to you right now. Right now, exactly where you are. So here's what I want you to do for the rest of the week. I want you to pick one moment a day. Just one. One moment a day where you actually pause and run the joy macros on purpose. Notice it. Allow it. Let yourself feel it for a few extra seconds instead of rushing right past it. And then share. Tell someone about it. Send the text. Say it out loud at dinner. Post it in our community. Send me a DM. Because we want to talk about this together. And we do talk about exactly this kind of thing inside of the Joy Project. And I would love to hear what you noticed, what you allowed. And I also want to leave you with this. You do not need a sparklier nervous system. You do not need glitter. You do not need to have been born the fun one, the easygoing one, the naturally happy one. You just need reps. You need a practice. And every single person listening to this, no matter what kind of week that you are having, you have access to that practice starting today. Joy is not who you are. Let me say that again. Joy is not who you are. Joy is what you do again and again and again and again until it starts to feel like who you are. That's the whole secret. And you know what? It was never actually a secret at all. It was just buried underneath a myth that told us that joy was something that we had to wait for. Something that we had to wait for instead of something to build. So for the rest of this week, I want you to build it. One notice, one allow, one share at a time. And if you are still here, I want you to notice, allow, and then share this episode with someone who also needs just a little more joy in their life today. Save this episode, share it with someone else. Make sure that you subscribe to the podcast because I want you to be here to continue to notice, allow, and share all of the joy that we are experiencing here on Joy Unfiltered. And remember, from my heart to yours, I am celebrating you today and every day. So have fun, live well, enjoy.